Hello and welcome to my August wrap-up. So I moved. These are my new shelves, which are great. I have 3 bookshelves and all my books, there are room for them, which is great because they weren't in my old house. And I chopped off my hair, as you can see, which I just really love actually. And yeah, let's just get into the August wrap-up. So the first book I read this month was The Freedom of Self-Forgetfulness by Timothy Keller. And this is a very short book. I think it was around 50 pages and a very small book as well. It was like this tall or something. And I borrowed it from my mother, who had already read it and was like, this is good. And it really was very, very good and I really enjoyed it. I think this is just like a small piece of another book that he has written, but I'm not entirely sure. I have to look into that and definitely want to read some more Timothy Keller. The next book I read this month was Summer Days and Summer Nights, edited by Stephanie Perkins. This is basically the same thing as My True Love Gave to Me, just with summer romance instead of winter romances. So this is 12 different authors who have all written one short story about a summer romance. And this I think I gave this 4 stars all in all, and I have given individual like star ratings because some of them I was like, I really don't like this, and others I really loved. So there are different star ratings for each. If you go to my Goodreads page, I will leave the link down below, as well as the links to all the other books that I'm talking about. Then I read Me Before You by Jojo Moyes and also After You, also by Jojo Moyes, which is the second part of this duology. I really enjoyed the first one and I thought it raised a lot of good questions, and I don't want to spoil anyone. I think everyone already knows what these are about, but I don't want to spoil anyone. Basically, this is about Lou, who gets a new job where she has to take care of Will, who sits in a wheelchair, and he just hates his life. And he used to be like a really sporty type and doing a lot of cool things, and now he can't do that because he was in an accident. And this is kind of how they help each other in ways. And yeah, it raises a lot of difficult questions. I wasn't completely agreeing with some of the things and some of the arguments, but I can definitely see the different points of view in this debate. If you don't know what it's about, then I'm sorry, I'm very vague, but I don't want to spoil anyone. And After You, I was very... I don't really know how I feel about that one, because some of the parts I really enjoyed and other parts I was just like, what is this? Because some parts I found to be very exaggerated and not very like realistic, and other parts were just so great. So yeah, I don't really know how I feel overall with that. I think I'm just kind of like in between and not really being able to decide. After that I read Shadowhunters and Downworlders, and this is edited by Cassandra Clare and says A Mortal Instruments Reader. And this is a collection of essays from different authors like Holly Black, Sarah Rees Brennan, Cami Garcia, and yeah, people like that. And they have written essays about the Shadowhunter worlds and different points of views, like on the vampires, on the Shadowhunters, on stuff like that. And it was really interesting. And yeah, I would totally recommend this if you are a fan of Cassandra Clare and her Shadowhunter books, because it really gives like what's it called? It really gives a different perspective on some things and discusses these things very well, I think. Then I read A History of Notable Shadowhunters and Denizens of Downworld, told in the language of flowers, and it's written by Cassandra Clare and illustrated by Cassandra Jean. And this is like a fan book, kind of. It has all the characters from all of the Shadowhunter stories in this, so there are also characters that we haven't met yet because they're in the last hours and we haven't had one single book from that yet. And then it just says some things about them. It says like what flower they are, their name, their descendants, and different stuff about them. So this is really easy and really quick because some of them it just doesn't say a lot about them. And yeah, it's just really fun, and if you're a fan, you should definitely get this. I think this is coming out in the UK as well. I bought this from the States and had it shipped to Denmark, but I think it's coming out in the UK as well, so if you don't want to pay that much shipping, I think you can just wait. I really want to get the UK edition as well. I think it's blue, and it just, in my opinion, kind of looks a bit better. This is kind of canvasy and I really like it as well, but I think I'm gonna get the UK edition as well when I get some more money, because now I'm just a poor student, because study books, they are so expensive. Then there's a book that everyone has read, and of course I've read it as well, and it is Harry Potter and the Cursed Child by John Tiffany and Jack Thorne. It says a new play by Jack Thorne and the original story by J.K. Rowling, and I don't know what to say about this. I think I gave it 3 stars because there were aspects of it that I really liked. I liked the father-son relationship between Albus and Harry, but there were some parts that were just awful, and the overall story I didn't really enjoy. There were some parts that I really enjoyed and some parts where it was just like, this is just fan fiction, and I was mostly sad that it didn't feel like the 8th Harry Potter story, and I think Scorpius Malfoy really saved a lot of this for me, and I'm probably never going to read this again, but since it is Harry Potter related, I'm not gonna throw it out. And the last book I read this month was the One Stop Bible Guide by Mike Beaumont. This is the Danish version because we used this at Bible school, and I started reading it there from the start. This was mostly just to look up things, but I just started reading it from the start, and then I kind of put it down for a bit, and then I finished it this August, so now I'm done with it, and I really enjoyed it. It's kind of like you begin from the beginning of the Bible, so the first one is called The Bible, God's Love Letter, and then you just start from like scratch, and you have this timetable over here so you can follow which time you're in, and then yeah, you just go through it, and it has a lot of interesting, cool facts about the Bible that I didn't know, and it is an easy way to get more information on a subject if you're reading like the book of Job and want to know a bit more. Then you can just look up Job, and then it has a lot of information for you. So those were the books that I read in August. I'm probably not going to be reading a lot in September because I'm starting university and it's gonna be hectic, and I don't have a weekend off, so there are just a lot of things that I need to get fixed and get started with. So yeah, hopefully I'll get to read a couple of books. I've already read one because it was for school, and I'm almost done with the second, I think, hopefully. And yeah, hopefully I'll get to reading a bit more, but I'm not entirely sure how much. So yeah, and I think that's just it for this video. Really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.